The year was 2023 when journalist Ava Monroe, a 32-year-old investigative reporter from Chicago, received an anonymous letter with only 5 words. Go to Halloween. Trust no one. The letter had no return address, no postmark, just those 5 chilling words and an old photograph of a decaying signboard reading, Welcome to Halloween, EST 1872. It was the kind of mystery Ava lived for. The kind that tugged at her curiosity and refused to let go. After a restless night of researching, she discovered that Halloween was a small village in rural Pennsylvania that had mysteriously vanished from maps and records nearly 5 decades ago. No recent satellite images. No census data. No postal code. 2 days later, Ava packed her recorder, notebooks, a camera, and a flashlight and drove east through the misty backroads of Pennsylvania. The road to nowhere. The last gas station before her destination was manned by a frail old man who stared at her license plate before mumbling, You're headed to the dead, aren't you? Ava raised an eyebrow. I'm sorry. He didn't reply, only pointed to the woods beyond. Don't listen to the trees when they whisper. Brushing it off as rural superstition, Ava continued. But her car's GPS gave out just an hour later, leaving her with only the photograph's landmarks to guide her. After winding through a narrow dirt path, she saw it, the signboard from the picture, half buried in moss and thyme. She had reached Halloween. The silent village. Halloween was cloaked in fog and silence. Old, Victorian-style homes stood in various states of collapse, their windows like empty eyes watching her arrival. The streets were overrun with weeds. No birds chirped. No dogs barked. There were no signs of life, and yet, she felt watched. Ava pulled out her camera and began taking photos. She walked slowly, documenting everything until she saw it. A candle. Lit. Flickering inside the window of a crooked house marked 137 Willow's End. Against her better judgment, she approached and knocked. The door creaked open by itself. Inside, the air smelled of burnt herbs and old paper. Walls were covered in maps and photographs with red strings connecting them. In the center of the room sat a woman in a rocking chair, her long gray hair braided and tucked behind one ear. Her eyes, pale as snow, seemed to pierce Ava's soul. I've been waiting, the woman said. The keeper of stories. Her name was Madame Elsie, and she was the self-proclaimed last living resident of Halloween. This village, she began, wasn't erased. It was hidden. Ava sat across from her, recording the conversation. Hidden from whom? Ava asked. From time. From memory. From the eyes of the world. Because of what happened in 1978. Elsie handed her a faded newspaper clipping from July 1978. The headline read, Entire village missing, no explanation for Halloween disappearance. According to Elsie, on the night of July 13, 1978, the villagers gathered for the annual Harvest Moon Festival. But something went terribly wrong. A ritual that was meant to honor the land accidentally tore open a rift between this world and another. They were trying to protect the village from a curse, Elsie whispered. Instead, they summoned something that couldn't be sent back. What was it? Ava asked. Elsie leaned in, her voice shaking. The Hollow One. Whispers in the fog. Later that evening, Ava explored the rest of the village. She found the town library buried under vines and rot. Inside, the books were oddly preserved, especially one leather-bound volume titled Chronicles of Halloween. It described a creature said to devour memories and identities, leaving its victims alive, but erased from time itself. As night fell, the fog thickened. Ava's flashlight flickered. From the corner of her eye, she thought she saw a child running through the alley, barefoot, translucent. She followed. It led her to the old church, its bell tower leaning like a dying giant. Inside, rows of dusty pews faced an altar scorched by fire. And behind it a trapdoor. Curiosity overwhelmed fear. Ava opened it. The basement below. She descended into the underground chamber, her flashlight now flickering violently. The air grew colder. On the walls were symbols she didn't recognize, until she saw the same 5 words scratched into the stone. Go to Halloween. Trust no one. Suddenly, Her flashlight died. In the darkness, a voice whispered, right by her ear. You're already part of it now.
She ran.
Stumbled. Climbed out. Fled back to Madame Elsie's home. But the house was gone. In its place, a collapsed ruin, overgrown, untouched for decades. Ava stood frozen in the overgrown ruins where Madame Elsie's house once stood. Moments ago, they'd been talking. Now, there was no sign of her, just stone walls swallowed by ivy and time. Was she hallucinating?
No.
The interview recording was still saved in her voice recorder. She pressed play.
Static.
Then a single voice whispered back. You were never supposed to find her. The return to the church. Determined to understand what was happening, Ava returned to the abandoned church. The fog was thicker now, almost alive. It twisted like tendrils, curling around her legs and whispering in a dozen voices. The trapdoor was still open, waiting. She descended again into the basement. This time, the flashlight stayed on. On the stone walls, she discovered fresh markings, symbols written in red, possibly blood. A circle had been drawn in the center, candles burned down to stubs. And at the far end of the chamber lay a dusty crate marked, Property of Harlow County Archives. Do not open. Naturally, Ava opened it. Inside was a small black mirror, carved from obsidian. Its surface shimmered like liquid. She touched it, and a sudden flash of vision struck her mind. Villagers screaming in a ring of fire. Children vanishing mid-laugh. A man with hollow eyes and a stitched mouth watching from the shadows. She collapsed. The Hollow One revealed. When she awoke, Ava was no longer in the basement. She was outside, back at the village square, but it looked new, restored. People walked around, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, smiling, living. The Harvest Moon Festival was in full swing. Am I dreaming? She whispered. But then she saw herself. Her own face, watching from across the street, confused, terrified. She realized what she was seeing. A memory, not hers, but someone else's. Someone who had lived here in 1978. A young man named Liam Carter approached her. You're not supposed to be here, he said urgently. If it sees you, it won't let you leave. What is it? Ava asked. The Hollow One, he replied. It feeds on memory. It wants to be remembered, but it can't survive in the real world. So it traps people in echoes of the past and erases them from the present. A town of echoes. Liam led Ava through the festival crowd. All of these people, he said, they're already gone. Their bodies never left Halloween. But their minds are stuck here, looping this night over and over. Ava looked around again. Everyone seemed so real. But none of them noticed the changes. None of them noticed her. Except Liam. How are you different? She asked. I'm a seer, he replied. My family practiced the old ways. We were the ones who tried to protect the town. But the ritual failed. The Hollow One came instead. He explained that Ava's arrival had reawakened the creature. That by documenting the village, taking pictures, and recording interviews, she had stirred the memory eater. Now it knew she existed. And it wanted her. Escape or forget. Back at the old library, Ava and Liam searched for a way out. The only way to escape the Hollow One's grip is to destroy its anchor, Liam said. The mirror? Ava asked. He nodded. But it won't let you. You'll have to face it. They returned to the basement with the obsidian mirror. Ava stood in the center of the ritual circle while Liam lit the candles. Whatever happens, don't look away from the mirror, he warned. If you forget who you are, even for a second, it will take you. Ava stared into the black glass. The surface rippled. Her reflection twisted. Then it spoke. You want the truth? Then give me your mind. The walls shook. Shadows screamed. The mirror cracked slightly. Memories flooded her mind, her childhood, her first job, her mother's smile, her dog's bark. The Hollow One tried to pull them away. But Ava resisted. I remember who I am, she shouted. With one final scream, she threw the mirror to the ground. It shattered. The collapse of Halloween. The moment the mirror broke, the world around her began to unravel. The restored village flickered like a broken TV screen. People froze mid-dance, then turned to ash. Buildings collapsed in reverse motion, sucked into the earth. Ava and Liam ran as the ground cracked beneath their feet. "Hurry!" Liam yelled. "Past the gate." They reached the edge of the village, where the moss-covered sign stood. Ava crossed it, but Liam didn't. "I'm part of this place," he said softly. "I was never supposed to leave." Ava tried to grab him, but he smiled. "You helped us, Ava. You remembered us. That's all we ever wanted." With that, he faded into the fog. Back to reality. Ava woke 2 miles outside the forest in her car. It was morning. The camera sat on her lap. The voice recorder was full. Her notebook was covered in frantic scribbles. She looked at the GPS. It worked again. But when she tried to search for Halloween, nothing came up. Not a single trace. She drove to the nearest town and showed the locals her photographs.
They laughed.
"There's no village like that around here," one said. "You must have been dreaming." Ava posted her story online. Uploaded the photos. The recordings. None of them uploaded. All files were corrupted. Except for one. A single photo of the village sign. Half buried. Cracked. "Welcome to Halloween." Final note. Weeks later, Ava began forgetting little things. Where she put her keys. What she ate yesterday. The name of her first editor. Then she noticed something terrifying. Her reflection in mirrors? It no longer moved in sync with her.